Hey guys, what's up? Adam here, hope you're well. Slight change of scenery this week. As you can see, I'm in the office. Just been editing a couple of wedding films which are starting to pile up now as we're getting into the season, and I'm spending most of my time nailed down to my desk, so I thought I would shoot this video from here. Basically, in this week's vid I wanted to talk about custom button settings and how I set mine up on my Sony cameras to most effectively, efficiently shoot my weddings. If you're not making use of custom buttons in your camera, or you're just not familiar with custom buttons, then they are so handy, especially for us guys on a wedding day, to quickly change your setup without having to go and dive into the menus and go through reams of settings, which you never ever have time to do in the middle of a wedding, especially with Sony cameras. I shoot on Sony A7Sis, and the Sonys give you tons and tons of options, loads of customizable settings, which is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, there's so many ways you can customize your camera, but there's that many settings that it can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, when in reality you only need to change up a couple of things. Anyway, let's get into it. For custom button settings, I'm going to go over into the second tab, this gear tab here, over to subheading 6, and down at the bottom you've got custom key settings. So you can see you've got 2 pages worth of settings here. There's number 22, page 1. On the actual camera you've got 4 custom buttons. There is custom button 1, custom button 2 here, there's custom button 3, custom button 4 down the bottom here. But you can assign settings to the control wheel as well, the left button, the right button. So there's so many options and so many settings that you can change in here, and I'm not going to go into every single one, but this is my setup. The custom button 1, which is this top one up here, have that set to picture profile. So I'll come out of here, press custom button 1, that's my picture profile. I have it on picture profile 1, as I've explained in a previous video. This is my custom picture profile that I use for colouring my image. If for any reason I decided that I wanted to change that up or switch it off, it's just there in the custom button. Custom button 2, which is right next to it, this one here, I have set to white balance. 99% of the time I use auto white balance, and I let the camera automatically set the white balance for most of the wedding day. Sometimes I'll go into shade or cloudy white balance just to warm the image up a bit. If I tend to use this at night when it starts to get a bit cooler and the light starts to go, but most of the time it's auto white balance. But I can just quickly change it because I'm just pressing this button here rather than having to go all the way through the menus. Now custom button 3 is the one I use the most and the one I'd recommend setting the most. So I have that set to movie. Now custom button 3 is this one here, and when I press that, it starts recording. The actual movie record button in the camera is this one just here, this red dot here. But as some of you will know, it's immensely fiddly. It's a lot easier to press that and record a shot than it is to go and press that. It's a bit of a fiddly button. One of the only bugbears I have with Sony. So much easier, more intuitive and quicker to just press that to record. Custom button 4, which is this one down here, I have set to focus settings. So when I am recording a shot, I can press C4 and punch straight into the image to see if the subject is in focus, which is massively handy for things like when you're halfway through the speeches or the ceremony and you just want to double check you're in focus. So that's my 4 custom buttons set. 1 on picture profile, 2 on white balance, 3 is that recording movie button, and 4 is for focus settings. I tend to ignore the center button. Now on page 2 you've got the option to change up these control wheel buttons. The only one I've changed, which is the right arrow, and I've set to ISO. Rather than having to go into the menus, I can just press the right button, it'll bring up my ISO, and if I need to I can crank that up if I need to change exposure. When I'm outside I'm normally on 100 ISO and I'm using the shutter speed to adjust my exposure, but when it goes inside or it gets darker, I'll just crank this way up. The beauty of Sony is that you can go up to 6,400, even 12,000 ISO. You don't have to worry too much about a noisy image. And yeah, that's my setup. I mean, if I wanted to set the down button to something, I can go in here. There's so many different options: creative style, picture effect, steady shot settings, there's autofocus settings, obviously depending on what lenses you're using, my focus peaking, my zebras. There's so much you can change, so it all depends on what kind of what you're shooting, how you shoot, your style, and what's going to be best for you on the day. Because for us wedding filmmakers, anything that can save you a few seconds here and there makes a massive difference. So just being able to just press a button and get up the setting that I need at the click of a button makes a massive difference. So yeah, that's my setup. As ever, anything that you want to chat about or any questions, let me know in the comments. As you can see, I don't really change that many settings, but anything that can save me even a few seconds on a wedding day, I'm all for, because you know that a few seconds can be the difference between getting the shot and not getting it. So definitely think about and consider what custom settings you should have for your cameras to best suit the way that you film. And let me know. I'd love to hear how you have your settings. I'd love to chat. Let me know in the comments. I hope this video was helpful. I quite like shooting here at the desk. I might do more of them. I might shoot all my videos at the desk. I don't have to leave the desk at all. Yeah, see you in the next one. Hope this video was hopeful. Hope my Sony cameras, how I use them, and how